You're listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, episode 374. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, the podcast that is designed for female entrepreneurs who want to make more money in a way that is in alignment for them. If you're looking for practical advice, proven strategies, and expert insights to help you navigate the challenges of growing your business, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friend. I am your host, Angela Henderson, a proud Canadian living in beautiful Australia, and I'm a business coach, consultant, and strategist who has helped thousands of women around the world build successful businesses. Through solo episodes and interviews with successful business owners, industry experts, and thought leaders, you'll get insider insights into what it takes to succeed in today's digital age. Whether you're struggling to scale your business, looking for ways to boost your productivity, or seeking ways to overcome the challenges of being an entrepreneur, this show has everything you need to succeed and more. So subscribe, pop your headphones on, and get ready to creating the business and life you deserve today by allowing the Angela Henderson Online Business Show help you create a winning strategy, develop the right mindset, and build lasting wealth. Hey there, my friend. Welcome back to another awesome podcast episode with me, your host, Ange from Angela Henderson Consulting. I'm super thrilled to have you here today. Now, let's be honest for just 1 minute. There are things in the world that have fallen by the wayside as we started our businesses. I personally can name about 1 million things that have fallen by the wayside, but one of those things that is easy to neglect is our overall well-being. Again, my hand goes up for this. But what if I told you that prioritizing your overall well-being could significantly enhance your business outcomes and help you achieve greater financial success? Now that I have your attention, but it is true. Who doesn't want greater financial success? But there are certain things that you're going to have to do to get there. And one of those things is prioritizing your overall well-being. So today on the podcast, we're going to uncover how maintaining a healthy lifestyle can not only help manage stress and anxiety, but also boost productivity, sharpens decision-making, and fosters your creativity. All crucial for a thriving business. But by prioritizing your well-being, you can avoid burnout and pave the way for greater financial success. Again, often when I talk with the women and business owners that I work with, my model is not just looking at strategy. I also look at health, wealth, and relationships, because all those things need to be firing at least in some form of alignment in order for us to, have that greater financial success. But often, again, we are putting our health to the wayside. So, to dive deeper into this vital topic, we have a very special guest joining us, Estelle Amelia. Estelle is a highly esteemed Indigenous healer with over 2 decades immersed into the healing arts. She has crafted a unique fusion of sound resonance therapy, scientific insight, and spiritual wisdom, delivering a holistic wellness experience cherished by many here in Australia, but also international clients. Her wisdom is absolutely something that you're going to want to listen to. And she's going to share with you some significant insights and also how integrating wellness into your daily routine can transform both your personal health and your business performance. So sit back, buckle up, and get ready for another awesome episode as I welcome Estelle to the show. Welcome to the show, Estelle. Super excited to have you here.
Oh, thanks, Angela. I'm so excited to be here and to speak to your listeners today.
Yes, and I know we were just talking about the beautiful world of sound healing. I'm just in the middle of my accreditation. You've been doing it for a while. Plus, it's in your lineage, your ancestral roots, but it's such a beautiful thing, sound healing. And obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, because I do believe that sound healing has a very, big force to be reckoned with, you could say, and around healthy you, healthy business. But we'll talk a little bit about that more later. And so, most business owners that I work with are just jumping from one thing to the next, and they really forget that their health is just as important and contributes to their overall financial success, but they minimize it, they put it in the back seat, etc. So today we're going to talk about healthy you, healthy business, and how that wellness component does contribute to people's financial success. But before we get started, I always like to ask a fun question for my listeners. So my fun question that I'd like to ask you is, of all the sound healing journeys that you've been on, what's been your favorite one so far?
I think the most rewarding for me is, and I think for my clients as well, is when I do my one-on-one healings. It just allows me to really just my energy and the client's energy, and there's no other interference, and they're able to actually open up to me on a really personal level and support them in that way, because a lot of people just don't know where to go now for support as well, because a lot of people don't want to do talk therapy. And so
Totally.
yeah, so that's how people usually discover me, because they're at a point in their life, they're either at crossroads or they want to transform their life and up-level their life. And that's how I help women, especially women in business. They're my number one clients that I work with.
And what does a typical day look like for you?
So my typical day is, it's really important, and this is what I share with the listeners as well, is that with your well-being, and having a well-being practice is essential. So I know people are busy, everybody's busy, that's not an excuse, but I would start my day off by giving gratitude before I even get out of bed. There's something called the veil, which if people are quite spiritual will understand. And this is a time when you're just waking up and you're coming out of your dream state, and it's very thin. It's called the veil. And that's where you'd be giving gratitude and what you were wanting out of your day. And then I would go outside and I ground. And grounding means you're standing on the earth with bare feet, and you're giving praise and you're giving thanks to Mother Earth and to Divine Grace as well. And then I would start, eating healthy. So usually having a smoothie, which has protein in it, plant protein. And then I would, cleanse my body. That's really important to do that as well. And then getting dressed, starting my day, and then going forward with whatever my day entails, meetings, seeing clients, etc.
Absolutely. I love it. And again, I do think that when we work with people, it comes down to what our own consistent practices are too. I go to bed every night saying, 3 things I'm grateful for. And I start the morning with gratitude, because again, I think it is so powerful. Now, when we speak about wellness, I know we've already started to use that word a lot. I think it's important that when we talk about it, for those of you that are listening out there, that I'm talking about the overall health. And to break that down further, when I think about wellness, I think about your physical wellness, your mental wellness, and your spiritual wellness. And they all kind of intertwine. You don't typically have one without the other. And I also know that, when business owners start to neglect their overall wellness, I personally have seen, after working with women, numerous thousands of women around the world, that it impacts them differently, as they're obviously individuals. But I've also personally seen that when they neglect their wellness and those 3 components that we're talking about, physical, mental, and spiritual, there are these warning signs, that also come up, but, that are such as, but not limited to, you typically see increased stress levels, impaired decision-making, poor, work-life balance, decreased productivity. There's health problems that I typically are always a direct correlation. Strain on relationships to yourself, relationships to your partner, relationships to your kids, relationships to your family, relationships to your clients. And then also there's the 7th thing that I really see too is like this loss of passion and purpose. People are just really flat, kind of stagnant, right? And that again is because those 3 primary health factors, their wellness is being neglected. So do you also see these things in your work within stress levels, impaired decision-making, or are there any others that you see that maybe I didn't mention?
This is huge, Angela. Majority of my clients come to me because they are just so overwhelmed and overworked. And I also work with corporations and businesses with my wellbeing workshops and helping them to manage their stress and keep motivated and just have that strong mindset. So I am seeing all those things that you mentioned. And then, people just forget the little things that I was saying, like, how I'm beginning my day. There's so many things that you can be doing during the day as well to actually help this. But what I'm seeing is people pushing through and doing all the time. And the most important thing is that people need to understand is that they need to slow down a little bit and they need to rest. When your body starts to show you those warning signs, and those warning signs can be things like, people getting really frustrated all the time or angry about things. These are little signs from your body that are telling you that you need to reset, to slow down and reset. And to do that, you need to start to having that well-being practice. And the other sign that I'm seeing, the huge sign from the body, is when you are getting sick all the time and there's no good reason for it.
100%. I see that all the time. Someone said, I'm sick. And I was like, you were sick last week. I'm sick again. I'm like, what is going on here? So, if these things are happening to business owners, how then does prioritizing well-being help business owners to better manage stress, anxiety, and avoid burnout?
Well, the biggest thing is, if they haven't got their health, Angela, then you've got nothing. Because if you haven't got good health, you're not going to have that energy. You're not going to have that vitality to be able to, do what you need to do in your business, let alone if you've got a family, to be giving yourself and your energy and your time to help your family as well.
Yeah. And that's where I think people are just like, oh no, I'll just push another hour. Oh no, I don't need any rest. But then what I see happen is then they're out for a week or they're out for 2 weeks, right? And that's actually costing them in other things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I'm also curious to know that when you're working with these business owners, do you believe that there's a direct correlation that setting boundaries or having lack of boundaries places factors into protecting their wellness?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Because if you're not laying those boundaries down, it is really affecting your mental health, because you are just physically tired all the time, because you're having to give yourself mentally and physically being there to be a part of whatever they're asking you to help them with. And you need to have those boundaries down, because your time is a currency as well in your business. And you would know that, Angela, because you're a very, very busy woman. So you understand what I'm saying here. And so it's important to have those boundaries down, because when you've got those boundaries down, then you're able to give more time to yourself, more time to your well-being, and more self-care and self-love to yourself, so that you are able to run a successful business.
And when, let's just talk about some of the boundary stuff, because, boundaries look different to every person. Yes. Boundaries could be, for example, a client, you set your boundary to say, I finish working at 4, and the client keeps messaging you at 7:00 at night. And then you're like, okay, I'll just do it this one time, and I'll just do it this one time. Or you're like, another boundary could be like, hey, all communication needs to go through an email or a ticketing system, and they're sending you private voice messages, right? There's all these boundaries. A boundary could be, your partner doing something, your children doing something. Like, boundaries can be broken all the time. And I found, there's a really great quote I read once, was something like, every time you breach a boundary, you like yourself a little bit less. The person who's causing you to break the boundary, even though it's your responsibility, they don't care, because their needs are met. You're the one that sits there starting to get angry and then resentful. And then those lack of boundaries start to fester into things like disease, right? The cough, the cold. Then you toss and churn, and then your stress levels increase. You're not getting any sleep. So it's like, these boundaries to me are absolutely key in order to make sure that your wellness is strong. So again, another boundary could be like, I don't start work till 8:00 every day because I'm going to do my gratitude and go for a walk. But yet your husband says, oh no, I need you to drop the kids off. I need you to do the dishes. But you're like, no, every day until this time is my time, right? So really, for you that are listening out there, I want you to think about, in order for your wellness to get better, your spiritual, physical, and mental wellness, what boundaries do you need to start setting and honoring in order for your wellness to be more protected? Now,
that's right, Angela. And I just want to add to that, with that little saying that you were saying as well, that you heard, it's showing yourself more respect when you are laying those boundaries down. And then it gets harder. What I share with my clients is, it is difficult for them to start doing it, because it is a practice.
100%.
And it's difficult to do at the beginning, but when you do start to do it, people start to respect you more, because they understand what you're doing and how you're moving forward in your life. And if they don't understand, then that's something like what you said. They need to have a look at that, because that's showing you something about those people.
And I also think, triggers, we're talking about boundaries, but then there's
Yeah.
things that people do that trigger us, right? And I also think that our triggers are clues about things that are unresolved in whatever our world is, from T1 or T2 trauma, right? So
Correct.
pay close attention to what nudges the universe is giving. Do you mean when you get triggered? I was triggered by a client this last couple of weeks. I won't say names because they're still a client and that's not fair, right? But this particular client triggered me, and I was like, I had to really dig deep about why did that client trigger me so much? Because I'm not normally triggered by clients in any way, but I am still human. And I was like, well, hold on, unpack this. And it was really around enoughness is what I got to, and I was like, okay, well, where does it stem from? Childhood, etc. So just as important as boundaries are, I also think it's equally important to look at those triggers because they too will play a factor into your overall wellness and well-being.
Attention, women in business, get ready to ignite your success and elevate your game. Join me for an exclusive 3-day Women in Business conference from October 31st to November 2nd at the breathtaking Gold Coast, Australia. Designed exclusively for online business owners, service-based business owners, coaches, consultants, and course creators. What to expect at this amazing 3-day Women in Business conference? Expect an immersive experience filled with fun, empowering keynote speakers, interactive workshops, networking opportunities with other successful business owners, gain valuable insights, forge meaningful connections, and leave inspired to take your business to new heights. 12 speakers have already been announced, with 5 more speakers being announced shortly. We have Steph Taylor joining us, Anita Seek joining us, Lisa Cordiff joining us, and not to mention Maddie from Sound Healing Australia, who will be there for the most magical sound healing experience ever. You do not want to miss the event of the year for women in business. To secure your ticket, head to angelahenderson.com.au today.
That's so true, Angela. And that is, when I'm doing the work with my clients one-on-one, I'm able to get to those dissonant areas within their field. And it's always around triggers, exactly what you're saying. And that's where, when you have one of your wellbeing practices in place, meditation, you can sit in your meditation and dig deep, exactly what you did, to actually find out why is that person triggering me, and receive that information and that answer. And that's what you did. So
100%. And again, you could, and we can talk more about the different types of things, but it's like, I'm a firm believer in the saying, we're never fully healed because we're always evolving as human beings. And I've actually seen people go down a spiritual journey, including myself, where you're just looking for one healing thing after another. You're like, I'm not healed, I'm not healed, I'm not healed. It can be actually quite addicting and quite dangerous, in my opinion. But running a business can be equally as addicting. All right. But when I was mindful of that, I was like, actually, no, I'm never going to be fully healed. I'm enough just the way I am. But as I evolve and as I do get curious and explore those triggers, I heal a little bit more. And I do believe that healed people heal people, hurt people hurt people. So whenever, you go down and whatever modality you go, it just helps a little bit, but not to mention it doesn't only help you, it helps your community, it helps your family, it helps your clients, but it also helps to break generational cycles, and it's just like, there's such a beautiful knock-on effect with making sure that our wellness and that healing, is happening.
That's right, Angela. And I believe that it's not about just healing all the time. I mean, you are doing that, but the bigger picture is, and for our listeners that are in business, it's about elevating yourself and elevating your life. And that's why when you do these practices and look at the well-being in your life and how that's unfolding for you, and that's what, getting back to your first question, Angela, is that's how your life starts to elevate and your business elevates, because you start to become in alignment. The frequency, that's, how you're having your relationships, your working relationships, your personal relationships, everything becomes in alignment. And also that becomes your actual resonance, your dominant resonance. That's what you want to do. You want to start to align more and more with your dominant resonance, which I like to call is our soul essence. And this is what creates good health, strong mindset, and fortitude for whatever you're doing in your life. So what you're doing is you're closing the gap between what you want and what you don't want.
And again, a lot of times women in particular don't actually even know what they want and what they don't want, because they actually haven't had time, right, to be able to sit and reflect on that. And again, making that time, having those practices allow things just to come. It's almost like mental decluttering in many ways, which I want to get to the next question. I know you talked a little bit about it, or you dropped a few little hints about specific practices that people can do. So can you share, are there specific mindfulness practices or meditation techniques that business owners can start to integrate into their daily routine that will help them to promote better overall wellness?
Yeah, look, there's so many, but two that come to mind at the moment is the first one, and that is to be grounding your body daily. This can be done, just going outside, placing your bare feet on the ground and going for a beach walk or swimming in the ocean. Giving gratitude is huge, like you were saying before, Angela. You do that when you wake in the morning and in the evening, and it's a huge one. The other second one is meditation. Meditation has been scientifically proven now time and time and again, and there's different forms that you can do this. So for the listeners that are thinking, I hate meditation, I can't do meditation, my mind races, all those sort of things, there's different ways that you can start trying to do meditation. And one of them is you could do sound recording, listening to a guided meditation. Mm-hmm. So that way, and it doesn't matter if your mind wanders. That's the whole purpose of doing it, so that your mind can just sort of start to, declutter itself a little bit. So because we're overstimulated, our bodies and our systems and our minds are just overstimulated constantly in today's age. And that's how meditation helps to actually just calming that mind down. You can also do meditation through sound healing meditation, like we were talking before we started this podcast, Angela, just through, you're learning sound meditation, and you can do that in live performance. You could even just purchase a crystal bowl or a Tibetan healing bowl and actually just sit and tap the bowl or play the bowl and just sit there with the resonance of the energy that's coming from the bowl, and just calming and calming your body and calming your mind down. But this is why Indigenous cultures, like my ancestors, they did corroborate. This was, singing in their language and using the didgeridoo and the clapsticks, because, science has shown that how deeply healing that, sound therapies are, and in particular the didgeridoo for the mind, body and spirit. But, you don't need to do sound healing meditation. You can just do a deep listening meditation. Mm-hmm. That sitting in meditation, and this can be done anywhere, and this is free. The listeners can do this. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it's just listening into the divine grace and your inner wisdom. But one of the most powerful things that I highly recommend for the listeners is vocal toning. Now, vocal toning, you can do that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And in this process, you can use powerful words, you can use mantras, or you can just use your own unique tone, whatever sound comes out. So you're taking a nice deep breath in right into the belly, and then you're toning out with a sound, or toning out with a mantra or a powerful word. And this will all depend on how you're feeling in the moment. But I love doing this technique when I have to go to do a speaking event, or, before I have to do a workshop. It just helps to align all my energy centers, which people would know as chakras, and it just gets them all balanced and just in alignment. So when you have to tackle that meeting, that workshop, whatever you're doing in your business, it's the reason why it's so powerful is because when you're toning, you're stimulating your vagus nerve. So for people who don't know what the vagus nerve is, this is one of the longest nerves in our body, and it's the main component of your parasympathetic nervous system. It oversees and is connected to all the main organs and controls your moods. It controls your immune system, your digestion, your heart rate, your speech, your taste. So vocal toning is one of the quickest, easiest, and most effective way to calm your nerves, but also your body and your mind. And what I love about it, it's free and you can do it anywhere. So that's what I like to teach people.
And I love it because I think that is important. A lot of people are like, I've got to pay for this for the business. I've got to do this. But again, you can go to YouTube. There are a million different types of meditations, right? That you could be able to do. Grounding, going outside and being in the sunshine, free, for example, right? Another great one that I do is journaling. I love just to be able to journal too, and just write and declutter what's going on in my brain. Again, it frees up space for the rest of the day. So there's other ways. I mean, obviously sound healing, yes, those are typically paid, experiences. But again, you've got to understand, when I hear people say, I don't have money, I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Do you buy a coffee? Do you buy alcohol? Do you buy clothes? Do you buy donuts? Do you buy insert whatever your kind of pleasure is? And my thing is maybe you just have to go without for just a couple of weeks, not forever, in order to be able to then go and do these things that are going to heal your body, your soul, and your mind, but which inevitably is going to help you grow your business from a financial point of view, right? Because again, like you said, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. But if you've got your health and your mindset is strong and your physical body is strong and everything else is strong, then again, you've got more clarity. You're more productive. You'll be able to not have as less brain fog and really work on what you need to grow that business. And therefore, it will be inevitable that you will not make money, right? But my next thing that I just want to talk about is often, though, women deep down, and specifically, they know that they need to take a break for their health. Like they feel it in all their, bones and all their, nerves. But there's this shame or there's this guilt attached to, slowing down. So I'm curious to know, like, what words of advice do you have for women that do need to actually just slow down for a minute? What would you say to them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they really need to do the meditation to actually find out why. Why do they really need to ask themselves, why do they feel guilty? Why do they feel shame, associated with taking breaks and stepping back from their business? So I would put it back on to the listener to actually dig deep and to see what is around that guilt, because you shouldn't feel guilty. You should have that self-love for yourself to actually put that practice in place, and prioritizing that well-being.
Yeah, again, and people also say, we were talking about this inside my mastermind call the other day, like, I don't have time. And I'm like, pick up your phone. The average person's time is like 4 hours and 30 minutes per day. I only meditate 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. That's it. That's all I can give. But it's better than not giving any. Because the impact it has is profound, in so many ways.
Yeah, it is, Angela. And that's right, Angela. That's why I was saying with the vocal toning, there's research that has shown now that even just that 5 or 10 minutes a day, like what you're saying, and I agree, and it's exactly what I say to my clients as well, is that it is better to be doing that and not doing it all. But vocal toning, if you do that, the science has shown that it is equivalent to doing just like a silent 1 hour meditation. It is that powerful because it actually, awakens and calms the vagus nerve, which is so important. But, I just think that women need to sort of work through that. It's a bit hard for me to answer that question, Angela, because I've never had a problem or felt guilty about putting my well-being first. I have my regular people that work on me because I have to be at the top of my game when I'm holding sacred space for other people. And, I have my massages and steams and all those sort of things regularly. I just had one yesterday because I knew I was coming on to this and doing this podcast with you. It's, you have to have your body at, peak condition. Otherwise, you just can't get through the day and the tasks that you have to do.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just by having an optimal launch strategy, right? An optimal, can I say that word? Yeah. Optimal. Geez, that's a funny word today. Optimal, say financial plan for your future or retirement plan. Your optimal wellness plan is just as important. And that's why I wanted to bring you on today, because I think it's so important that we need to highlight this, because I believe health is one of the first things that we put to the back instead of the front.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
We do need to do that, Angela, because what we haven't touched on all the things that we've been talking about is that when you do meditation or any of these mindful practices, it gives you that space and time for your mind to just decompress And what happens is then you open up this consciousness that then gives you all these great creative ideas or solutions to any problems that you might be having in your business, where you can't do that when you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out.
No. And I see that all the time when people come to my retreats, for example. Day one, they're like highly heightened, anxious, overwhelmed. Day two, they've had good sleep. They've had hot showers. They've either meditated, gone for a walk, ate good food. They nurtured their bodies. Then day three, I normally see the tears start to fall, right? And that's just from a place of, I feel safe again. I feel nurtured again, etc. And day four, there's normally a few more tears, but they're like, they've let it out, right? So when they've had that space to come, whether or not it's my Bali retreat, a sound healing session with you, do you know what I mean, or my 3-day conference, there is this beautiful transformation that happens. And literally the floodgates open of, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And then they see their strategy from a different angle. They're able to let go of things that are no longer serving them. But until they get there, they're hanging on to everything. And I also see it very much like a scarcity mindset. They're just kind of like everything's kind of doom and gloom. But when they make that space for that meditation or come into those retreats or go into those sound healings, then they start to run more from a place of abundance. They see things from a better, clearer, more positive lens. And so there are so many beautiful things that can happen when you put your wellness first.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, for those women out there or men who are like, oh my goodness, I need a little bit of Estelle in my life. Where can they find you? What can you get up to? How can you help them, through optimizing their wellness?
Yes, well, they can just go to my website, which is www.solavita.com. And I do distance sessions for clients that aren't here in Perth, Western Australia. But if you are in Perth, I do in-house, on-site sessions. I also run workshops for corporates and well-being, corporate and workplace well-being as well. So that's the best place to contact me there. Otherwise, there's all the socials. I'm on there, Solar Vita Wellness Studio.
Yep. Fantastic. And we will make sure to have all of your links still in the show notes so that it's easily accessible for everyone. And then they can head to angelahenderson.com.au, click on our episode, and all of that will just be in one spot for you. Again, like I said, I'm very picky about the people that I bring on, but Estelle has this grace about her. She's got this wisdom about her, and she really lives and breathes the wellness side of things. And this is something that I feel is missing in so many women. So if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling overwhelmed, and if you just need to be nurtured and loved on, do you know what I mean? And start to get some massive breakthroughs while at the same time putting your wellness first, I strongly encourage you to go and check out Estelle's work, either locally in WA or distance. But for now, I've got one final question, and that is, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first started out in business?
Oh, that is huge, Angela. But I would say I would do my research. I would have done my research better and just found like a really good business coach. I did have one at the beginning, but it wasn't the right fit for me.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's why I'm saying I would have done my research a bit better to find that right person. I think it's really important that you have that support when you're first starting out, because they will be able to then help you to know what you need to put in place first. Everything from, there's so many things like, your business name and all the social media and, just all those sort of things. They can guide you and they know what to do. So it saves you a lot of money, Angela.
So much money, but also I was just talking about this when I was recording another podcast today, and it's also time. And time is the only thing that we can't get back, Yes. And so you're either going to exchange time in years trying to figure things out, or you're going to exchange money, but you're going to figure things out quicker and faster, again, if you do your due diligence and find the right people. So yes, it is something that, again, there's always people to help, but there is this, do you know what I mean? A lot of people don't like to ask for help, where I'm all about it, all about it. Now, This has been an amazing episode. It's been fun connecting with you finally. I know we've known each other on social media, so it's been great to be able to sit down and have this beautiful chat with you today. So thank you so much, Estelle. I appreciate you. And for you, you amazing listener, I hope you have a beautiful day no matter where you are in the world. And I look forward to you joining in and tuning in for another episode of the Angela Henderson Online Business Show. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, www.angelahenderson.com.au.